Welcome to another episode of Not for the Weak Minded. We are going on a journey today, a journey through geological time and let's call it mythological time, mythology, about the earth, the ancient past, and how what you see right now, for example, what I've put in this post, giant petrified trees, prove without a shadow of a doubt that the earth is much younger than what we've been told, and they've lied, right, about everything. So we are going to look at a few pieces of evidence to suggest that at the center of the earth was at one point a giant tree, and that the earth is hollow, and these branches per se of this giant tree spread out across the earth, of which we are all on top of. These trees are on top of it, so to speak, which are very, very large trees, really, but at the same time, nothing in comparison to the giant tree at the center of the earth. So just notice how you get into fact checks straight up, you know. I mean, the evidence of petrification is, well, it's very well self-evident. You know, all you got to do is look for it, mud fossils, and understand, right, that you already should believe that things should be much larger in the past already because of the dinosaurs, right? Now you go, oh no, though, the dinosaurs were, you know, massive, like building-sized beasts, right? But they lived off plant life that's like around today. Yeah, they did, but it was on a much larger scale, right? You know, if these beasts were around today, they would eat the planet. But with the resources we've got, like we've been given, everything's gone smaller through time. So this is kind of why it's important to understand geological time, and that perhaps there was one giant tree at the center of Earth, and then later on all these other giant trees were planted, and then later on smaller trees were planted, right? Genetic engineering, in a way. So Yggdrasil, from the Old Norse Yggdrasil, is an immense mythical tree that plays a central role in Norse cosmology, where it connects the 9 worlds. So Yggdrasil is attested in the Poetic Edda, compiled in the 13th century from earlier traditional sources, and the Prose Edda, written in the 13th century by Snorri Sturluson. In both sources, Yggdrasil, I'm sorry if I say these names wrong and these things wrong, is an immense ash tree that is center to the cosmos and considered very holy. The gods go to Yggdrasil daily to assemble at their things, traditional governing assemblies. So the mountain at the center of the earth, or the tree at the center of the earth. The branches of Yggdrasil extend far into the heavens, and the tree is supported by 3 roots that extend far away into other locations. One to the well Orabruna, or in the heavens, one to the spring. I can't even say half these things. I was going to try. Hevergelmir, and another to the wall. Well, Mim is Brunner. Creatures live within Yggdrasil, including the dragon, Nihogar, an unnamed eagle, and the stags Dane, Davlin, Dunir, and Jura Brawler. Scholars generally consider Homidus Holt, Mimior, and Leora, which is a tree in Norse mythology, often identified with Yggdrasil. Interesting symbol. The figure of 8 symbol, as above, so below. The tree is an example of sacred trees and groves in Germanic paganism and mythology, and scholars in the field of Germanic philology have long discussed its implications. But it's in our histories, right? It's in oral history, it's in the poets, it's in poems, it's biblical in terms of what it says about geological time, and it's just the greatest puzzle of all time, in my opinion. You know, putting all these bits of information together to actually understand everything that this place is, and albeit, you know, these things I'm saying might sound far-fetched. It might not be, right? There was once a giant tree at the centre of the earth. Maybe there's been 5 extinctions starting from the tree itself, you know. Interesting, you know, when you look at other depictions. And some of them, you know, they've got the land above. So we're literally, as I've been trying to say, under the water of another world, so to speak. And that world could have been connected to this giant tree at one point. And then someone came along, cut it down, put a dome around us, separated the waters from heaven and earth, and then hollowed it out, you know, like hollowed the earth out, created everything we see. I mean, as a physical creation in a physical world, right? I mean, that's one possibility. The other possibility is that we're none of, like, as a lot of people believe it, but the simulation theory and that none of this is real in the first place. You know, in a way, it's kind of like that because, you know, our souls live on. You know, this is just an experience that we're meant to live and go through. So it's interesting. So the Tree of Life, and there's a book about this in the Tree of Life, an archaeological study, and I just brought this up. It's interesting. The Scandinavian Yggdrasil was the tree of fate on which the welfare and endurance of the universe depended, with the well of fate beneath it in which human destinies were decreed. So if things happen to the tree at the centre of the earth, things happen to us. And kind of that is what's going on around us today, if you understand the frequency-based reality and the war we're in. You know? Being the centre of the divine world, where the gods met in council every day, it held the cosmos. Therefore, when it shivered, groaned and decayed, the doom of the gods, Ragnarok, was at hand. The watchman, Rumdel, would sound his horn. A giant, probably Loki, would break loose. Demons would board the ship of death with Loki at his helm. The sky would be rent. The sun become black. The stars vanish and the earth sink back into the sea whence it had arisen. A few of the gods were expected to survive and rise again when the Golden Age was established, while men reappeared from concealment in the giant tree. So when you research natives, and how they survived, they tell you that they come out from from underground, essentially, from the underworld. So the underworld is it's got dualistic meaning as well. There's more levels to the underworld, than you can imagine. And that gets you into other things if you can read the Hollow Earth theory. So if, as has been suggested, the Yggdrasil originally was the mythical world pillar supporting the sky, the apocalyptic cataclysm would naturally constitute the collapse and conflagration of the cosmos. But there's others, like I said, there's a lot of stuff. But symbology, like the eagle and the serpent, America fights the dragon. Perhaps. So the world tree, also called the cosmic tree, the centre of the world, a widespread motif in many myths and folk tales among various pre-literate peoples. They call them pre-literate. They had a language, They definitely did, They definitely had a language, and therefore they had to be literate in some way or form. It's just been lost, Especially in Asia, Australia, and a lot of it's pictorial too, a lot of the native artwork which tells a story. So all the aliens that you see in the native artwork, well, what does that story say? For example, the Hopi tribe, the Anasazi beings, the ant friends. One being of which I know exists because I have taken a picture of one myself. In my own experience, it knew it. It must have known I was going to be there. I do get sidetracked. I do apologise. And if you are listening, thank you very much. I do try and give a lot of information out in these videos, and I know my videos ain't for everyone, and I do get despondent when people start leaving, and I understand that you may have come to this channel for a specific reason, and I'm not doing that for you. Then I understand, or you've had enough, I get it. Can't please everyone. So yeah, most of these people, pre-illiterate peoples, Asia, Australia, North America, the natives, the first peoples, divine and sacred realm. Two main forms are known, and both employ the notion of the world tree as centre. There you go. So here's just a logical question. If we were living on a globe, Earth, how can the centre of the Earth be a giant tree? You'll laugh and you'll go, nah, there can't be. But I'm going to tell you that the evidence I've seen shows that this Earth is engineered. It has levels, The hydrodynamics of water management on a large scale is just immense. Like, it's just mind-blowing to see. Most people think it's just, a natural occurrence that water flows certain ways and stuff, but it's not. It's literally deliberate. as I've tried to show you in certain places in Canada, where the lake is literally a giant lion, you know, and other animals that they've literally, to prove that it's created. You know, it wasn't an accident that it just, it turned out that the lake just happened to be a lion, shaped it like a lion, right? No. In the one, the tree is the vertical centre binding together heaven and earth. In the other, the tree is the source of life at the horizontal centre of the earth. Adopting biblical terminology, the former may be called the tree of knowledge, the latter the tree of life. In the vertical tree of knowledge tradition, the tree extends between earth and heaven. It is the vital connection between the world of the gods and the human world. Oracles and judgments or other prophetic activities are performed at its base. I'd love to go there, wouldn't you? Sorry, you can't. In the horizontal tree of life tradition, the tree is planted at the centre of the world and is protected by supernatural guardians. It is the source of terrestrial fertility and life, because of the tides as well. Human life is descended from it. Its fruit confers everlasting life, and if it were cut down, all fecundity would cease. The tree of life occurs most commonly in quest romances in which the hero seeks the tree and must overcome a variety of obstacles in its way. But yeah, thanks Britannica. And this goes into the Shamanic world tree and their beliefs. I'm not going to read it. I will leave all these in the link. But as you see, it does incorporate the knowledge of the tree. The world tree incorporates everything, essentially, to do with now, the past, and the future. Where we can be if we all just wake up to reality. You know? Yeah. You don't, if you believe in creation, or you're created and you have a soul, you don't even have to worry about half this stuff. You know what I mean? You this is for the people that really want to know, what the hell we live on, how it works. Giant tree at the centre of the earth, to start with, is what you need to understand. Conjecture views. Now again, I'm going to link it up because I don't have time to read all this to you. But I highly recommend reading this. It is certainly well written and it does make you think. So a nod is good as a wink to a blind bat. Copernicus is an anagram of open circus or pernicious co. He was a Freemasonic Grand Master, a lion shepherd who told the herd, using a bent crook and spells, the New Age Masonic agenda. They gave us be red, bread, and circuses, or circuses, because his story is based on wordplay and theory. We are given the ball earth spin theory, and we believed it hook, line, and sinker without question until now. And this is about the giant Zion trees of the old have been planned down on this plain and quarried. This planet, plane. And it's a very interesting read. Like I said, it's very well written, and it should make you think about everything I've said so far. So the hollow earth is filled with giant Germans and a little sun. And this is just one article about this hollow earth concept. So all the information's out there. It's just how first of all, you've got to look at it, and secondly, you've got to do a lot of research around it to believe it as well. Like, what is petrification? So thank you very much for watching. Please share, like, and subscribe. Please let me know what you think. Giant tree at the centre of the earth. Oh, one more thing. Okay. And this is a map from the late 1600s. The earth. I know I've done a video on this. But what's just to say that this is one giant tree and it's been hollowed out and leveled, so it goes down and everything flows from the center, and it's all interconnected. Everything's got, it's like it breathes, it's got its own circuitry. It's incredible to think what was engineered. And this goes into Atlantis, you know. This goes into the past. This goes into what was once might have been here on the earth, and that could have been geocentric ringed earth with no oceans. Please share, like, and subscribe.